Welcome to Spiritually Imperfect, the show where the metaphysical meets the practical. This is your space to explore the mysteries of the universe, embrace spiritual growth, and connect with the energies all around us. No one spiritual journey is perfect, but that's the beauty of it. Hosts Mike and Jen bring their unique blend of perspective, humor, and heartfelt nature to every episode. Whether encouraging, facilitating readings, or diving into exploring mediumship, energy healing, or searching for clarity, Spiritually Imperfect is a place to where discussions of the collective experiences that we all share comes to the surface. Now, here are your hosts of Spiritually Imperfect, Michael Christopher and Jennifer Lee.
Hello, Michael.
Hello, Jennifer.
Happy Friday.
Again.
Again, we made it to Friday, too.
We did 2 weeks in a row.
On Friday.
2 weeks in a row at the scheduled time and scheduled day.
Yes, we did. We are doing good.
It must be the year of the horse.
We're off to that running start.
So tonight's different. Tonight is different, everybody. We have a guest.
We do have a guest.
And she's not part of this network.
I am excited. I'm excited to have her on.
I am too.
Excited to chat with her.
I am going to read her bio. And I have to read it because there's no way I could memorize this. And we'll bring her out in just a second. So we're having Kim Griffin with us tonight. I've known Kim for several years now. Her and I have done online DEMS. No, we haven't done DEMS. I've joined her group and we've done live readings together over the last, I have to ask her because I cannot remember how long we've known each other. So I'm just going to read her bio real quick. So as an evidential medium and spiritual intuitive, Kim understands the importance and power of her life's work, assisting others in healing, embracing life's opportunities with a sense of peace, clarity, and purpose. She intends to provide evidence to the contrary, or continuity of life after death through spirit communication. Kim's goal is to utilize her gifts, bringing healing and hope to those in need. A New Jersey native, Kim is mentioned by well-respected medium Reverend Janet Nohavec, a former Catholic nun and founder of the Journey Within Spiritualist Church. At a young age, Kim began receiving messages from spirit through dream state and understand the potential of uniting loved ones on earth plane with those that have crossed over. Over time, Kim realized her mission was to facilitate, or to be a facilitator between these two worlds. Kim's approach to harnessing these abilities to the maximum potential was through long-term development and mentorship from other well-respected mediums. She now shares these gifts with others through private and group readings and teaching. Kim truly feels the interaction with the spirit world requires a code of honor, ethics, authenticity, and sets the bar high for herself. And I have seen Kim work, and there's times I've left the dem go, I can't work with Kim again, because after watching Kim work, I'm like, I question everything I do, because she is like spot on, crazy amazing. So with that, we're going to bring her on.
Let's welcome her. And I'm going to say hi. We've got a couple of people hopping on. Kim's got some here hopped on to support her. So let's see who we've got with us. I see CJ. Hello, Lydia. Celestial Chaos. What a name. I love that name. Vivian says aloha. We have Jeannie, Nicole, Julie, Angela, Laura. Boy, we got a lot of people joining us tonight.
We do. And
Brenda from Washington. She says she is excited for this weekend. Hello, Misty. Terry Allen from Ohio. She says Kim is amazing.
Oh.
Yes. We have Kellyanne with us, Catherine. Boy, we got everybody. So, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get to everybody because they're just kind of scrolling by. But I'll do another hello a little bit later in the show as more people join us. But we do see you coming in from YouTube, Facebook, all of the places. So thank you for joining us. And I'm going to turn the floor.
And hello, Kim.
Well, hello. How are you?
I'm doing fabulous. Hopefully, I didn't butcher your bio. I get nervous when I read in front of public. I have ever since like first grade.
You know what? And I forgot to tell you, when I sent the bio, you can cut it in half if you want.
Nope.
I'm like, God, that's long. I like it short to the point, but yeah. And believe it or not, I've cut that bio in half. So there you go.
Well, yeah. So again, we get into this like orbit of mediums, and we start to meet new people and people that do this work. And all day today, I'm like, where did we meet and how? And I want to say it was either through Anthony Baraka. I don't know. I really cannot remember. It's been a while.
I possibly one of the media rooms or something. I'm not really sure. It's been a while. It's been like years, like what? Years, like 7, 8. It's been a lot of years.
It's been a while.
And we did a demonstration about 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. We did a demonstration. It was to donate for Hurricane Helene.
That's what it was.
Yes.
Yep.
A bunch of mediums that came together, and we donated all the money to the relief fund for Hurricane Helene.
That's right. I was like, I know we did a dem. I know we've done lives in your group, but I was like, yeah, that's right. The hurricane relief. So again, hello everybody. So tonight we're going to have a conversation about mediumship. We may do a reading or two. We just never know. We kind of go with it. So Kim, I kind of mentioned this before. So I'm always intrigued by watching other mediums because everybody has a different process.
Okay.
And I really love that we can share this with people that are listening in because it gives them an idea of how different every individual is and how we receive and how we communicate. So would you mind maybe just talking about that a little bit on what's your experience with communicating with spirit?
What is my process? Or
yeah.
Well, I don't have a process. So.
Me either. I understand.
It's really, somebody was explaining it the other night, and I thought to myself, I just shift my awareness. I'm not like, I guess you could say I'm raising my vibration, but I don't consciously say I'm raising my vibration. I think by just being aware that I'm shifting my awareness to the spirit world, I don't say it automatically raises my vibration, but it does make me alert to the spirit world, because they're all around. I mean, they're around all the time. It's just, us being aware of that. So, so that's basically how I started, just shifting my awareness to the spirit world. And what else? What was the other?
Oh, no, that's kind of like, I agree with you there, because I know in the very beginning, I heard people say, you got to shift your awareness. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? And then somebody finally broke it down, and they're like, all you literally do is think of the spirit world and you're connected. It's the intention.
Yeah. And in my mind, I literally shift. I literally just go, or sometimes I'll physically shift, like, hello, Yeah. So, yeah, that's basically what I do. I do feel that there are times where, before reading or before some type of event, that I need to clear out my mind. So I say a little, a prayer, whether it's the Catholic prayer, whether it's, the Our Father, or whether or not it's just a little 2-second prayer of, whatever, please just be there for me.
Right.
Or sometimes it says, please just don't make me look like a fool. I swear, sometimes the prayer is, you don't let me stand up there with my thumb up my butt. And look like an idiot. I don't have to be great. I just don't want to look like a jerk.
Wow, we're so similar.
Sometimes it doesn't.
So similar. Please don't make me look like an ass. Please just show up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, sometimes it's formal prayer, and sometimes it's just that.
And then I'll ask one more question, and then I'll turn it over to Jennifer, because I talk a lot. It's a New York thing. I just cannot shut up. So like, when you get messages, when spirit is sending you messages, how do you receive them? Like, I get snippets of images sometimes. Sometimes I see like a moving picture, a short one. Sometimes I just know I need to say something. It just comes to mind and I'm like, yeah, I just need to say this. Other
Right.
times I'll hear like a thought word. Like, how do you experience that? Is it
Well, I think
similar?
it's similar. I think it comes in a variety of ways. And I always kind of put it this way. Each spirit that comes through has their own personality or lived in a body with their own personality. So not everything is going to come in the same. So it's not going to be like a menu, like you have this, 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 and this, because they're all individuals. They all have their own way of to communicate. So it is in a variety of different ways. Sometimes, it's just me again, shifting my awareness and just the knowing, just a knowing and knowing the information. So when I'm feeling that dense feeling, it's a very subtle, dense feeling for me, and just like clicking it on and then just kind of collecting the information. And then it may become visual, my mind's eye. It's like remote viewing, or they call it traveling clairvoyance, which is like remote viewing. It might be something like along that lines. Or they may give me different references that are personal to me because it's an easier way to get through the information. So, and I use this example all the time, So if I see my mother, I know there's a mother like that is coming forward. If I see, and I like to use my grandmother because there's so many different, examples. Right. So if I see my grandmother, then I know that is diabetic. I know that's somebody from Poland or somebody from Eastern Bloc European country. I know it's a farmer. I know there's one leg. I know there's somebody that had 10 kids or a lot of kids. Maybe not all those things, but some of those things. So yeah, or I might get a movie reference, or I might get a TV reference. And sometimes I love working that way when they give it to me that way.
Yeah.
It's easy to dissect that. So if I'm getting a movie reference, for example, one time I got on Golden Pond. So I know there was a Henry. I know that there was a Jane. I know that there was a Catherine. I know there was a pond, and, and with the Catherine Hepburn reference, I remember also getting Audrey too, the name Audrey, but that's in that one little reference. So I play with them when I can, when it happens for me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Jennifer?
Specifically, Michael, because that was the question that I was going to ask her. I was like, well, there goes my question.
I ruined it.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
You know what? I still have this cold medicine fog. And so I apologize. I am my own worst enemy. I was taking, just a funny story. I went to take my caplets the other day after taking them for 3 days. I was taking the nighttime ones in the day, wondering why I was so exhausted for 4 days.
I've done that, not realized they're nighttime and falling asleep at work.
I could not figure it out. So anyway, still kind of there. But I do have a question. I'm curious, like, how did you come to get into this work? How did that begin for you?
Yeah, I'll try to shorten up the story because I don't want to bore you because there's just a lot of stuff. Okay, so I started getting experiences when I was a teenager. Now, this didn't happen from birth. I didn't see grandma underneath the bed or in the closet or anything like that. Nothing like that. I didn't have relatives. Blah blah blah. No, so it was in dream state. And so what would happen is my mother did have 10 brothers and sisters, and so she was the youngest one, so a lot of them were I hate to say it, but they were dying off. And so they would come to me in my dream state to let me know that they passed away without me knowing that they had passed already. And so when I would wake up in the morning, I would find out that Uncle so-and-so died, another uncle died, blah blah blah. But the interesting thing is when they would come to me in my dream, and I love to tell this because it just lets you know that they are someplace, but it's whatever they want it to be. So I had an uncle say to me, I'm in the ice cream parlor. Okay. You're in the ice cream parlor. Yeah, I'm in the ice cream parlor. I'm in the diner. And because he owned a diner. So I was like, okay. And then one uncle said, I'm on vacation. And at that particular time, I knew what was going on. It was like later on in years. I said, no, you've passed on. Like in my dream, I'm saying this, and he says, "No, I'm just on vacation. I'm not dead." And I'm like, okay. So there was that. But anyhow, long story short, with all that, so I thought it was just something that happened to me. I didn't think anything more of it, and because when this is going on, this is the late 70s, early 80s.
Mhm.
So I had a lot of drinking, a lot of smoking pot, and a lot of other things to do.
Hey, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, so I had a lot of that stuff to do. So I was a busy little girl, I was a busy girl. And but I was so busy that I found myself in AA. Right. So I had a lot. So I had to recover from my alcohol. Well, recovering from my alcoholism. So I found myself in an outpatient rehab for a year or so, and that was in my early 30s. And so I do believe that things started happening externally to me at that when I was getting well, when I was getting my stuff together. And I love the saying that an older medium says all the time, sometimes you don't have to heal the mediumship, you need to heal the medium. So I believe with me, that was happening before I could recognize that I was a medium, healing that. And, in the recovery process is always a recovering process. It's nothing that's ever done. So, I'm still a work in process, right? Progress. Yeah. So then I do believe it started happening externally, and just certain things would just pop into my mind. And it happened more, I want to say psychic awareness, but psychic awareness kind of mixed in with messages for people. And I wasn't even in development at this particular time. So, and this is one of those things that don't do this at home, kids kind of thing. So I was bartending. Yeah, I was a recovering alcoholic and I'm bartending. It just worked for me. Don't do that. That's another thing. Don't do that. Yeah. But I was bartending and I would read my customers. Say, hey, I'm practicing here. I didn't even know what I was doing, and you're like, yeah, so with that, I was just reading my friends, not family, but friends and patrons and this one and that one. And then I had a friend of mine saying, you really should go to development, I'm like, yeah, all right. So I went to this local girl for about 2 years or so. And it was mostly for psychic work, but I realized I was always doing that and I didn't realize that. And I think a lot of people realize that, because we're intuitive creatures, right? And so when we recognize that, then we can hone into that more. But anyhow, so but we weren't doing so much with mediumship. But so outside the class, we would have our own circles and stuff. So I'd be practicing that way. And then I was recommended to go up to North Jersey. Now I lived in Central Jersey. And so North Jersey to me was about 45 minutes away at, the Journey Within Church. Well, I heard about the former Catholic nun, and I'm like, okay, I can get into that. This nun, And it wasn't anything like, it's against my religion because I'm not a practicing Catholic. So, I was raised Catholic, but I'm not practicing. But it was just that trust issue, so I'm like, okay, she's a former Catholic nun. I can get down with this. So, so I started going to her. She had a workshop. I did the weekend workshop. And then what I did, she opened it up that she goes, I'm starting classes on Monday nights. If anybody wants to start it, anybody that's here can sign up for Monday nights. It's $20. And, we run from September to whatever it was, June or May or whatever. And so I did that for about 4 years. So with that being said, she would have the people from AFC come over. So
really?
Got to go to AFC. You got to go to AFC. Like, why?
Yeah, right.
It's the plane fare. They're coming over here. So I was like, I'm not doing that. But I don't want to discourage anybody from going over there. I know a lot of people that had great experiences. I just have the pocketbook for that.
Same here. I've studied with their tutors, like Tony. I studied with Tony, Anthony Bing. There might have been one other. So that was a good experience. But yeah, I don't have the dollars to go fly over to England and hang out for a couple weeks.
Yeah, and I think it was Kelly. We were in the Tony Stockwell workshop together. So I did that a couple times, his workshop a couple times. And there was a bunch of other ones like Colin Bates, and then there was Simone, like the regular people that you hear about.
Right.
So, I did all that. I did that.
Yep. Been
And,
there, done that.
yeah. And then what happened was I moved down to North Carolina. So, and crickets. So
Crickets.
there's nothing really going on around here. But it's funny because when I started mediumship, when I started to practice, I mean, there wasn't any Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't Facebook. So I had to find people to read. So hence reading people at the bar. I literally had to go find people.
Right.
And that was actually an advantage. And I didn't know it was an advantage because a lot of people I noticed, like when I got online with Facebook and whatnot, and then they developed all these groups, a lot of people didn't read people face to face in person.
Right.
You've never read anybody in person?
And it's completely different. It is so different. Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh, so you don't know that energy. I was like,
oh, I love it. It's I love to read in person. It's my favorite.
I do too. I definitely
it's
do.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's not harder. So Tony says, is it harder to read people over the internet versus in person? It's not necessarily harder. And I'm referring to private session because it is a little more difficult in something like that, like a live. It's not necessarily harder. It's just a very different energy. It's a different energy for the sitter as well. So it's just, we were talking about our awareness. It's just tuning our awareness to that different energy. So not necessarily harder, but different. Yes.
Yeah, it's just different.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't think it's hard. Yeah. Because what I would do though, it's funny, Jennifer, because what I used to do is I would prefer, I mean, again, this is before Zoom and Facebook and all that kind of stuff, is I would prefer to read people on the phone.
Really?
Yeah. Because then I wasn't distracted by their facial expressions.
Same here. I can do Zoom, but I prefer not to stare at the person. I don't anyway. I'm usually staring at the floor, wall, ceiling.
So do I.
I'm reading off something, and I'm just like zooming over here.
Which I found out through with ADD, because I've always been uncomfortable making eye contact with people. My grandfather used to yell at me, literally, like, look me in the eye when you're talking to me. And I was like, it just was so uncomfortable. So I found out that people with ADD, they avert their eyes because if they're looking at somebody, they cannot concentrate on what's being said. I'm like, yeah, I get so.
I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah. That tracks. Absolutely.
So I'm like, yeah.
Brenda has an interesting question.
Okay.
I'm curious, do any of you have physical feelings or sensations when you are connected? Example, pressure in forehead. I can feel physical feelings or sensations, but it's not something that is, as soon as I connect, it's there and it's there for the whole time. I don't feel a physical sensation with that. Sometimes a spirit comes in, if they're trying to show me something, they will do it by triggering physical sensations in my body, but it's not something that happens just because I've connected, if that makes sense.
How about you, Kim? Do you experience any physical?
Same as Jennifer. Same. I will. I don't want to get too well. When there's a life take, the only time I get a physical sensation is when there's a life taken.
Oh, okay.
Like, I know it's strange, but that's and I know. Yeah, and it happens right between right on my head, like right here, not on the top, not over here, but right here.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, there's times where I know somebody had a stroke because I feel a little bit of fuzziness, like right around here. But those are the only physical sensations. So, if I'm getting really hot, then I know there is an infection in the body.
Oh, wow.
Oh, there's maybe peritonitis or septic or something along that lines, but that's kind of the only time.
And it's interesting because this was very important. I'm thinking back to when I first started, because I don't feel anything hardly. I won't say without exception. For the most part, I don't. And I remember in the first class I ever took, everybody was talking about they get this physical sensation. I'm like, well, shit, here we go again. I mustn't be doing it right, or I'm the dunce or whatever. So later on, I find that most people don't. And it's not that this is just what I found through research. It's not that they're actually giving us that sensation. They're triggering something in our mind to trigger that in our body to make us feel it. So it's not that they're making us feel it. They're doing something in the mind to give us that sensation, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to make is if you're one of those people that don't feel anything, don't think you're doing something wrong, because you are not. It's not something that happens that often.
Yeah, I don't think it does.
Yeah. But again, I felt like the oddball out, because I'm like, well, I don't feel shit, so I'm doing it wrong.
You know, every medium, that's just it. Every medium is different. Everybody works different. So what works for you may not work for me, vice versa. You know, everybody gets kind of, I don't know, they get caught up in comparing, you know, and
that's
you know, and that can be dangerous to a developing medium, because then they feel like you said, oh, well, that doesn't happen to me. What's wrong with me? You know, there's nothing wrong with you.
Yep. And that's where you're coming into practice, because then you learn about you and what works for you and what doesn't.
I was just giggling at that Celestial Chaos said. I do recall that you do get smells through Michael Christopher.
I will never forget that, Celeste. Her and I don't know if we were doing a practice together. It's years. But anyway, she told my sister, because my sister was a beautician, you know. So she was connecting with my sister. And I didn't know this. All of a sudden, I get this wafting sensation of smelling this like the permanent solution for your hair.
Oh, right.
Yes.
And I was like, holy shit, that was strong. And I believe, if I remember right, Crystal, you had asked my sister to send that to me in some way.
Oh, wow.
Like, whoa. I mean, it was one of those, I didn't have to think about it. It was like I backed away from my screen. It was that strong of a smell. I was like, holy go. Oh, wow.
So yeah, Heather Chamberlain said, what about smell or tasting? So yes, smell can come like that too. And I've tasted things as well. Cinnamon, like super strong cinnamon. And I can always get that taste of whiskey. But again, that is that spirit triggering something so that I will have that taste. Lemon, that's another one I've tasted.
I smell pot. I smell pot a lot. And I'm not kidding.
I've smelled pipe smoke.
Yes, I've smelled pipe smoke.
And I was reading a lady one time. It's the only time I've heard something externally. One time in almost 20 years that I've heard something externally. And I'm reading her and I'm like, did you hear, where's the dog coming from? And she's like, what? And it's like, there's a dog outside. Somebody let their dog out. And she's like, there's no dog outside. And I'm like, yeah, there's a dog. And I heard it barking. And then I realized it was a dog spirit coming through.
Oh, God.
Like, oh, okay. And then, I went on with that. She goes, yeah, that's my dog. She goes, you heard something? I'm like, apparently.
Yeah.
Guess he was pretty loud, huh? But that's the only time I've heard anything external.
My brothers, I'll get back to that because I want to go to Adriana Lee's question. I love this question because this is something I brief, and a lot of other mediums do too. So do spirits tell certain words to tell their loved ones to confirm it's them? Here's the deal. Okay. Your family, friends on the other side may have those words. That's not the issue. This is the communication with spirit is not like we're having this conversation right here where I can say something and either Kim or Jennifer can react and respond. Spirit has to figure out a way for them, for me to understand what they're saying. So if you have the code word or a set of numbers, they may sit in there, they may be trying to get me to get that. I may just not become aware of it. So it's an awareness. So if you go into a session with like that, I'm sorry you're going to be disappointed because most of the time that information is not going to come through. They will come through with validation in some form or another. Mm-hmm. Anybody else want to second that, or am I the only one who thinks that way?
Well, Jennifer, I'm sorry, I don't want to take up the whole.
Oh no, you're good. Go ahead.
I agree with you, and that's in my introduction when I'm doing a reading. I'm saying I don't do passwords or code words. I don't do code words.
No passwords, no lottery numbers. No.
Yeah, I don't do that. And then like, they'll ask me, oh, what's the code? And I'm like, you know what? You know what's happening here? Now I'm using my thinking mind, and I don't want to think because it's not going to happen if I'm thinking. And is that really the important part of this
Right.
thing? Is that the important thing? Or is it important that your loved one's coming through, giving you evidence that they're still around, still observing your life, giving you evidence of that? Is that more important? And they're like, yeah, I guess so. Sometimes they're a little reluctant to say that, but yeah.
And that's a great follow-up question, Audrey, because this is what this show is about. It's about educating on people about what this process is and what it's not. So for me, for instance, every medium has like an anchor point, I believe. Like they have a certain way they like to begin, and they have this worked out with spirit. It's like, hey, so mine is like, when you come in, I want to know if you're a male or female. I'd like for you to share like how old you are at passing, maybe your passing condition if you want to talk about that. Sometimes they don't, which is understandable. But there's usually 4 very specific things they will come up with. For me, for instance, the last 2 has literally came up with, I have the man here. I feel this is dad. He passed of a stroke at 52. The person in the audience was like, yep, that's my dad. Once I have validated that is their dad, there's no doubt that that is this person's dad, I'm open to whatever they want to talk about. And I just open it up to them, and they come through like what Kim was saying, sharing memories, looking at things you're doing now and giving evidence of that.
Right.
Getting chased by a rooster. So
yes, something like that. So Vivian has a really cool question. I want to answer this. What happens when someone you're reading speaks a completely different language? Nothing, right? We are reading energy. Energy is limitless. It doesn't have boundaries. Energy doesn't speak language, right? It doesn't have that. That is something that we have created to be able to communicate. It's a completely different type of communication. Now, I have connected with spirit that spoke a completely different language, and it was very cool because I knew it. I didn't know their language, but certain words did come through that were, point on, that meant something. So there really is no, again, there's no boundaries, there's no limitations. There is no, it's an energetic language. And so when those impressions come in, we are translating them into a language that whoever we're speaking with understands. Mm-hmm. So that's the best that I can explain. I've also had somebody come through that spoke sign language once, and I suddenly was signing. It was the coolest thing. It was just so cool. So yeah, there are no limitations there.
Well, like this. Animals do not speak, right?
Exactly.
The first time and I've told this story, but this still blows my mind. I was reading for a friend, and she said, do you read animals? And I'm like, well, I never have. Let's try. And I don't remember how it started. Either she told me she had a horse, or the horse just barged right in. So anyway, I got this horse here. Literally, the horse sends me the thought I had dementia. In my mind, I see this horse walking into the side of the barn and backing up, and kept doing it. And he would do she showed me the fence posts as well. And I was like, all right. I said, Ronnie, your horse tells me he had dementia, and he shows me doing this. And I explained what he was showing me. And she just started crying. She goes, he had dementia, and he would do that. He would stand outside the barn and just walk into it, back up, walk into it, and back up. And I was like, I'm freaking talking to a horse. Holy shit.
Mr. Ed.
Yeah, and then our other horse came through, and then her boxer, and I was like, oh my God.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's so cool. Audrina, so this is interesting. How can they share memories but not certain words to confirm it's them, such as their favorite flower? Just trying to understand the process, which is probably near impossible. So it's not that they cannot share those words to confirm. I feel, because I have had words come through. However, the sitter hasn't asked me for those words. It's come through very organically. It's come through because spirit has just initiated that word. A lot of times I don't even know the context of the word. The word just comes out of my mouth. So I think it's not that they cannot share it. It's that when the sitter asks us, it can shift our mind, right? Because we want spirit, again, we've talked about this, to lead the session. And so when those words come in organically, I'm telling you, it has even more of an impact. Also, as a medium, I'll be honest with you, when people ask me that question, I feel tested and I get a little bit on the defensive right away. And so I talk about that in the beginning of my session, just like Kim was saying, like, I don't do code words. I don't we're going to let this flow organically.
Right.
So
I agree with you 100%. And, and I tell people all the time, because they'll ask me similar questions like that. And I say, listen, what I'm doing is I am just the listening ear. I am the translator for the spirit world. I'm just the vessel. So whatever they're telling me, I'm giving to you.
Right.
I'm not controlling the conversation here. So, if you have a question about it, you got to ask them, not me. So,
Yeah.
that's it. And I always like to kind of refer it to, I'm the UPS driver for the spirit world. I'm not responsible for the package here. I'm just delivering it. That's all I'm doing. So.
And that's all we can do. And you mentioned it earlier. The second that we put our mind into it and try to understand it, that's when the communication fails, because now that's our job as a medium, is to put our conscious mind out of the way. It's all receptive.
Well, it's so what we're doing when we're connecting to spirit is we're focusing, and we're in deep focus. And that's why I tell people, just give me yes, no, or I don't know. If I start having a conversation with you, it's going to take me out of that focus with spirit.
Yep.
And then we're done, or I don't want to say we're done, but I'm dropping the link, and it takes a lot of energy to raise that link again, that communication strand. So, that's why I just like to, again, be in that focused mind. And if somebody's asking me, well, what's the code word, or somebody asked me one time, oh my God. And I looked, it was in a demonstration. And what happened was, I was describing the backyard of his grandpa's place where he used to like to go all the time. And grandpa came through, and there was, a river that was going through. And I said, and I know that there were like river rocks in it. And I know that he taught you how to skim the water with the rocks, because he's showing me, like, throwing them. He says to me, what color were the rocks?
Oh, jeez.
right.
I said, you gotta be kidding me. Like, right. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And he's like, well, no. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't know. Right.
I've had somebody communicate with someone's dad, and all of a sudden they're like, well, what's his name? And I'm like, you forgot your dad's name?
Yeah. Right. I know. Or, who is it? Is it, but what I tell my students a lot is, don't worry about the relationship. I mean, you're giving really good evidence, and you're being evidential with, well, if you're giving evidential mediumship reading, and you're giving the evidence, then, they know who it is. You don't have to concentrate so much on who it is, because people get caught up in that,
Right.
like, well, I didn't get the relationship. Well, they know who it is. So
Exactly.
don't worry about it.
If for instance, one of my brothers comes through, and if he showed a deer rifle and a Corvette, you wouldn't have to tell me anything else, because I already know my brother Jason accidentally shot my other brother's Corvette with his deer rifle when he was done hunting. Yeah, he picked it up. He was clearing it out. He got out of the truck. We live in the country. So he was clearing the weapon. One was in the chamber. It went off. It went into the garage. He saw where the bullet hole went in. He went into the garage. He's like, oh, shit. So he follows the bullet hole through the rafters, and he sees where it hit the metal one. And he looks down. There was my brother's Corvette underneath a tarp, and there was a hole in the tarp.
Oh, my God.
Put the bullet right into my brother's engine. So, again, if you just said Corvette, your brother showed me a Corvette and a bullet or a gun, I know that's my brother Jason. Your job is done. I know it's him.
Right. And not me, but somebody was reading me, and I got to tell you, all they had to say was, I have a gentleman here. What did she say? I have a gentleman here that's talking about playing guitar, Johnny Cash, Folsom Prison Blues. And I went, I know who you have. That I know who you have. Do you got him? And she goes, well, how about Morris? And I'm like, well, that's his father. I know who you got, so that was fun.
Yep. So it's always interesting. It's always an adventure. No two readings are ever the same.
No.
And that's a good thing, because you never know what to expect. It's never going to be boring. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Do you get nervous before reading still?
All the time.
Same here.
All the time. There's not one time when I'm not nervous.
I say that everybody, because I want new people to understand this, no matter how long you've been doing this.
All the time.
It's not like we get a chance to practice, especially for a demonstration. It's not, I say this all the time about musicians. They get to practice their music for months on end before a performance.
Right.
We step onto a stage with absolutely no idea what the hell's about to happen.
Right. They have the same set every time, same order.
Exactly.
And that's where your prayer
yeah, we have no idea what's coming out of her mouth. None.
And that's where your prayer comes into play. It's like, dear Lord Jesus, don't let me fuck this up.
Oh, thank you, Shannon.
Exactly. Do you communicate? I'm just looking at it. Do you communicate with babies and toddlers?
Yes.
Do you? Oh,
Yes, I have. Babies are harder because there's not a whole lot of memory. There's not, for that I can bring through, especially if they were babies that left before they came earthside. Those are a little bit difficult. But sometimes I've connected and they have shown me the baby room and some different things like that. And yes, I have connected with a couple of toddlers before.
I just connected to my first baby a week ago.
Oh, wow.
Really?
It was a stillborn. Yeah. And what happened was I was doing a group reading, and after I do most of it, then I'll say, do you have any pictures you want to show me? And I got that from Tony Stockwell. He does that a lot too. So I'm like, yeah, it's good for Tony. It's good for me. I could do that. So I said, all right, let me just have a picture, and I'll look at the picture. And with that, you still have to get the evidence.
Right.
You still have to get it. So anyhow, I didn't know she was going to do this, but she gave me a picture of a stillborn.
Oh.
And I was like, whoa. I'm like, oh, wow. And she goes, oh, I know. I'm so sorry. I kind of shocked you, didn't you? I'm like, well, no, it's okay. What else am I going to say?
Right.
But I did get a little information. I got some information. But there's not, like you said, there's not a lot to draw from.
Right.
I don't get toddlers. I will get, smaller children, maybe 8, 9 years old, but not toddlers. And I think it's because I had a bad experience with it one time. Not a bad experience. It wasn't a bad experience for the sitter. It was just, it shook me up. So after that, I was like, don't want any of that.
Yeah, let's talk about that too. Let's talk about that. How like different mediums can connect like you said. Somebody put in there that it wasn't difficult to connect with toddlers and babies. And so I do stand corrected. It's more difficult for me. For another medium, it may not be, right? For somebody else that connects, because that may be their experience. That may be their, what they are more comfortable with, or for whatever reason. So all mediums can connect different. Some people don't want to connect in certain situations. I know that I had a reading that really, really jarred me. It was the cause of death, and it was shown to me extremely, extremely graphic, just right there. And I asked my guides after that to please do not show me like that, right? And so actually that manner of death has not come to me again, because I think that, maybe I just didn't connect with spirit that way, but I don't want to, because it was so jarring to me, and it was absolutely terrible. So for me as a medium, this particular cause of death, I don't necessarily connect with very easily, especially on a platform like this. Now, if somebody were to come and see me on a one-on-one, would more than likely connect. I just don't want the jarring surprise of it and the way that it was shown.
And that's an important point too, because you can ask your guides, like, dull this for me. You can give me a sense of the passing, but don't give me the visuals. Your guides, because it's like when and this is my opinion, my experience, that if it's something so traumatizing, you can tell them, okay, dull it down for me. I don't want to have that experience. And they will do that because they want the message coming through, but they don't want you to feel traumatized by it as well. So again, it's just working with your guides.
I have the opposite thing. I'm like, bring it on, but I it's not the kid thing. I can't do the kid thing. And like you said, Jennifer, maybe some people are really good with babies and toddlers.
Right.
I'm just not, or don't want to, or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
But I've had strings of readings where it's all suicides.
Mm-hmm.
We were just talking about that, Michael.
Yeah.
I sent him a message and I said, do you ever notice these patterns?
Oh yeah.
In your mediumship? Because every reading I have done for the last week, right, was exactly what you were just talking. It was suicide for an entire week. And I was like, wow. And sometimes it's, so I just was noticing that pattern myself not too long ago.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I asked Michael if it was just me. So thank you. It's not just me.
Yeah. And then I was going through with a lot of murders.
Yeah.
Yes.
And not that I'm like, bring it on or anything like that. I don't know why I don't want to say I'm tough to it. It's just that I kind of just look at it. I don't want to say objectively, but I just put myself outside of it. That's what I do. And I try not to get I don't get graphic with the descriptions, because as soon as you see somebody's life was taken by somebody else, they know exactly who it is and what it is. I don't have to say it's this, that, or I don't have to get graphic and build the whole scene for them what it is, but there was one time where it was right here. It was right here on this couch. This is where I read people, right there on the couch. And somebody came to me, and anyhow, her friend came through, and right away, again, I got very visual in my head, and I saw him in a hotel room. He opens up the door. I see the gun right to his head. Boom, done. He's down. And that's what I saw. He was just,
wow.
The bullet wound, the whole thing, boom, done. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I told her, I said his life was taken by somebody in a hotel room. And she said, that's true. So, yeah.
Yep. And I think that's important too for us to understand when we're developing. Even though we see the graphic, we have to kind of gently walk through that with a very gentle language. You can describe the situation without giving the details, just like you said, Kim.
Right.
I feel his life was taken by somebody else with a weapon. That's all I need to say. Or because I vividly remember a hanging that I saw in my mind where a guy went up to the attic, and I saw him. This is graphic, but he was hanging from the rafter.
That's the one that I was telling you. I had one similar, and it was the hanging, and I asked to never ever see that again.
Yep. But it was jarring. I was not expecting it. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I've had so many of them. I guess, I don't want to say I'm cold to it, but I guess I'm used to it. And that's why, again, not used to the kids, and I don't want to do the kids because it's too emotional for me. But there are readings that sometimes are so emotional in a row that I need a break.
Yeah.
And then I think, well, what are these poor people going through? What are my clients going through? And I'm whining because, but you have to take care of yourself, You
do.
You have to. Because I had like it was right in a row. It was like I had a reading, and a girl was raped in Central Park and stabbed 27 times. She was a med student. And then right after that, I had a guy from Afghanistan that was killed. And then, that was a very interesting one. And then right after that, I had a 14-year-old boy that hung himself.
Yeah.
And I was like, no readings I can't do that.
It gets heavy sometimes. Let's talk about that, because as a medium, There are times, and Vivian's asking how we ground ourselves, which is a great question. But there are times that the work gets really heavy for me. If I've had, like we were just talking about, patterns, right? So if I've had a bunch of readings in a row where everything has been very tragic, boy, it gets heavy. It gets heavy in my heart. And so I do have to step back for a minute. I do have to ground myself. I do it by going outside a lot. I also drink a lot of water, keep water with me even when I'm reading. But the one thing that I do to release, I'm a big crier. I will leave a session and I will cry. I will not break down bawling. Sometimes it's just a couple tears, sometimes, but I have to feel it, or otherwise it stays, stays in my body. It stays with me. And there's some real emotions that go through those readings. There's some real deep stuff at times. And so I have to allow myself to feel it after the fact for a minute, right? And then let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I do things such as I do a lot of artwork and whatnot, so that grounds me. So
I love to draw too.
Yeah, exactly. Do whatever, baking. I used to bake a lot,
I beat the shit out of my drums.
And there you go.
Yeah.
Or get on the motorcycle when it's not negative 300 degrees in North Dakota.
Well, I take a bike ride, or
Yeah.
I take a bike ride. Yeah, because we have a lot of biking paths around here, so I do a lot of bike riding and whatnot. Well, right now, but like in the spring and the summer.
I cry or I dance, whatever, you got to do what you got to do.
And I think that is. It's, and I'll share one thing and then I'll stop talking. I just feel I need to say this. Like for me, and it comes with practice. We have to kind of, like I think you said it, Kim. We have to basically go into the observer position, position, if you will.
Right.
We can't. It's like being a doctor. We can't let ourselves become emotionally attached to the sitter or the person in spirit, because we're professionals at this work. So we have to keep our emotions in check during the reading.
That does not mean we don't have compassion.
No, and it doesn't. Right. That's a very important part.
We can show empathy.
Yes.
It's not that we're not being empathetic or anything, but it's sometimes, you're bearing witness. That's bearing witness to what is going on around you.
Yes.
Shannon had a question that I wanted to answer. What does the energy feel like when a spirit comes through from suicide? Is there a difference of energy? There's not necessarily for me a difference of energy, because I'm feeling the energy of the person as they were when they were here. So they don't necessarily come through with a different form of energy. Now, if they are to show the cause of death or something, that has its own energy feel to me, right? That has its own. So maybe if they got to that part in their story, yes, I would feel that. But when they come through, no, I'm feeling the essence of who they were while they were here. Sometimes, just as we can feel people's energy here, right? Some people have a little bit heavier energy. Maybe they feel lighter. They're going to come through that same way in spirit. That's one of the evidential things that we have, is that's how they're going to identify themselves. They're going to come through as they were. So that energy can be felt differently, again, just as it can with somebody that we're talking to, a friend or a stranger that we meet. We feel that energy, and everyone's energy feels different. Same in the spirit world. But again, just because suicide was their form of death doesn't mean, at least for me, that they come in and their energy is very different. I hope that makes sense. I was long.
No, it does. It does.
So Tony had a question. How do you turn it off, or is it constant chatter? It's not constant chatter for me. It's just like, hey, I'm done. I'm done working. It's like when you clock out.
It's like your kids when they're young. You can put them on mute. They can talk and talk and talk, and you're like oblivious to it. So
that's a discipline, though, don't you think? Because when I was first developing, and part of it was I didn't want to. Part of it was this curiosity, and I also had this fear, if it goes away, maybe I'll never hear it again. But part of that is just development and discipline and boundaries, and it's more boundaries with yourself than it is with spirit, because like we said earlier, spirit's always here. So it's creating a boundary with yourself. to me, I don't look at it as turning it on or turning it off. It's just a boundary. I'm just not there right now.
My first
I
teacher,
totally
Mimi,
agree.
and actually I just reconnected with Mimi 2 days ago. I found her email. So she was my first teacher. And actually in the email, I told her, said, Mimi, I still talk about you to this day. But she's one of the first exercises was to write out like my agreement with spirit. It's like, and it was like a contract. When I'm at work, you don't bother me. When I'm sleeping, you're not allowed in my room. I was very specific on what my boundaries were with spirit, and they understand that, and they will abide by that because they don't want to intrude. But again, I look at them as like kindergarten kids. If you don't set boundaries, sometimes it can be like open game. They just want to be heard. But again, it's just setting that boundary with them that, hey, don't bother me when I'm just doing my human thing.
Yeah.
Like if I'm in the bathroom, I don't want company. Stay out.
Exactly.
Well, what do you think, Michael? You've got what, 4 minutes?
4 minutes.
Yeah.
This was fun though. This was
fun.
great, Kim. I enjoyed this conversation.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes,
absolutely.
We have to do a live again sometime soon.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
I was honored, Kim. Like Kim is another one that puts up with my antics. There's only very few people that like can tolerate me.
What did you do? Oh, well,
just being me.
oh, you're fine. Hey, people put up with me, so it's.
So, but yeah, to everybody who's out there, we try to get to as many questions as we can. It's just impossible in an hour. I hope that you got something out of the conversation today. Again, this is why Jennifer and I do this show. It's about educating people on both sides, not only for the mediums, but people that want to know more about their experiences. And even as, people that do this work, we're always learning. And again, that's why, bringing Kim on to hear how you work and your way, it probably triggered somebody else in the group. They're like, yeah, that's my experience too. So again, it's just about sharing information to let people know that one, this is not exclusive to just mediums. We all have this ability. It's just a matter of understanding it and then developing it if you choose to walk that path. But this is available for everybody. Yeah. We're not special. Well, I'm special, but.
Sorry, Michael. I just wanted to acknowledge Shannon's comment. I want to hear the story. Send me a message.
What?
No, Shannon was just saying something about a soda can moving, not just a nudge, but a whole slide. She's a friend of mine. So I said, I want to hear the story. Send me a message.
Oh, I thought you said there's a story about me. And I was like, what story? What did I do?
Well, on next week, you will find out.
Oh, God.
On next week's episode of What Did Michael Do?
Oh, God.
I'll leave you hanging for a week.
Yes. But Kim, stick around. We'll talk backstage for a minute.
Hi.
So, yeah, because I didn't want you to just vamoose after we go off.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm like, do I go now? Or
No.
What do I do?
No, hang in there.
But thank you, Kim. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
You.
And again, everybody, thank you. We'll be back next week.
Next Friday.
We have no idea what we'll be doing, but we want to keep you on your toes. We want to keep it interesting. So you never know. Vivian, I don't even know what I did. Now I'm paranoid.
Tune in next week.
Tune in next week, and Jennifer will tell everybody what I did because I don't know.
I have archives. I have receipts.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.